What's happening to everybody? Knowledge the Raven, Knowledge the Prophet. Many names, some call me. Man, I got a message for y'all. Because I didn't want to get up this morning and get on the prayer line. I was tired, man. I was tired. I was exhausted. And my sisters and my brothers had called me because they noticed that I wasn't on the prayer line. They was like, man, we got to get you on the prayer line. What's going on? Something ain't right. Like, usually you happy, you good. But, man, to make a long story short, I ended up getting up. I ended up getting up. And I'm talking to them on the prayer line. We having a conversation. So I get out the house and I just go walking around the neighborhood. Hold on. I go walking around the neighborhood. And as I'm walking around the neighborhood, I'm talking with them. We having a conversation. And I walk to the police officer's house. Now this officer, I walked to his house July the 4th or July the 5th, July the 4th and 5th, 2019. And I was outside of my mind. I told this officer to kill me because I heard this voice. I mean, you can laugh at me, whatever, it doesn't matter, but this is a true story. And I told him. So we having this conversation, right? I stopped there and his wife answers the door and she wants to know, who I am. And I told her, I was like, well, y'all know me, but y'all don't know me because when I walked over here, I was outside of my mind, but I want to talk to your husband, if that's okay. She said, yeah, that's fine. Just come back around this afternoon. He would like to talk with you. So, like, all right, cool. I went back to the house, and of course, I'm still on the prayer line with the ones, because they were listening in. I mean, they were having a conversation, but when I knocked at this officer's door and I started having this conversation with his wife, they just stopped their whole conversation and was listening to me. And, as I'm leaving and I'm walking, they're asking me, like, well, what happened? And I'm telling them, like, okay, well, this is what happened, because one of the brothers, he didn't know while I was at this door, why I was at this door. And I told him, well, I mean, some of the sisters already knew, because I told them that I wanted to write him a letter, but that would have been weak of me. That would have been coward of me, to write a letter. It's like, nah, brother, you got to be bold. You got to stand up. You got to go talk to him. You got to knock on that door again. You got to close that door, because every time I walk by there, man, literally, I was wanting to just stop by and, leave just a letter. But instead of leaving a letter, I went to the door and I knocked on it again. And this was like probably around 1 o'clock. But I took my children with me because we were walking over to their mother's house. And we knocked on the door and, they came to the door. And then the husband came to the door right after. The officer Gillenbeck is his name. And we had a conversation. I said, well, I just want to apologize to you. Because we did meet, but we didn't meet on good terms. And not just apologize to you, but I want to ask you to forgive me for that night because I was outside of my mind. And I knew I had to come back here and apologize to you and your family because I did frighten you. I did frighten y'all that night, and you could have took my life, but you didn't. And he asked me, like, well, what led up to it? And I told him everything, about the things that I was seeing and hearing, and then about my fasting. And next thing you know, I'm smoking some medical marijuana, and I end up outside my mind. And he said, see, I knew it was something, because he said he didn't open the door, which he did unlock it, but when he opened the door and he talked to the officers, like after they put me in the car and what have you, he said the officers came and told him, because they said, do you know where you at? And this is what I said. Well, we're not in Kansas anymore. Well, I didn't even know I had said that. But, I mean, it was just funny because, he remembered that day like it was yesterday. He was like, wow, so you're the young man. I was like, yes, it's me. He asked about my walk in life now. What am I doing? And I told him, he was like, that's amazing. you know, you should keep on doing that. But in a nutshell, I'm telling y'all, man, I know a lot is going on around America. You know, there's a lot of things that's being said about what happened with George Floyd and what happened prior to that. Everyone is not bad. Every officer is not bad. Every officer ain't good. But every person of color is not bad, and every person of color is not good. Every white person is not bad. Every white person is not good. The list goes on. I mean, of all races, there's good and there's bad in everything, man. But all I'm saying is just we gotta change, man. We gotta operate in a new way. And I'm always going back to scripture, because the scripture this morning, even the Father's Heart ministry was on time. But I did want to bring awareness to that and tell y'all, man, you know, as a man of color or a black man or whatever y'all want to call me, I don't operate that way. I don't consider myself that. You know, I consider myself a child of the Most High God. It's not about color, not about any of that. But to go back there and do that, man, that was life-changing for me, because that officer, he told me, he's like, whatever you need, you know, if you ever need help with anything or whatever. And I told him I'm right around the corner. He was like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't live around the corner at first. I lived down the street, but now I'm right around the corner. He met my children. I met his children. And it was just by faith, man. Like the song said, all you need is faith. It was by faith. We just got to operate in a new way, man. A loving way. You know, I thank God that I'm still here. I thank God that I could tell my story. I thank God that I went back and apologized, you know, and I closed that door. Had to close that door. But a new door opened. A new door opened. So, hold on one second. Man, these songs, this is crazy. Let me get my book real quick. So I'm going to read from the Father's Heart Ministry real quick and let y'all know what it says. And then we're going to move right into what the Word says. Can we do that? Can we move right into what the Word of God says? Because it's very on time. I'm telling y'all, it's very on time. An on-time message. Hey, please like, share, and subscribe. Send this video out to you know, your followers, people that are following you or that are listening in and that want to hear some real knowledge, some real stories, some real truth. So we're gonna go to Proverbs. Oh no, I'm sorry. First of all, we're gonna go to the Father's Heart Ministry. Oh goodness gracious, daggone bugs. And I'm not doing this for self-righteous gain, man. I'm literally telling my story because I have a testimony of how God changed my life and how He could change yours, and He will change yours as well. How we can operate in a new way, how we can help one another, how you know, each one teach one. We don't have to go and do all the destructive things. We don't have to go and tear down businesses and things like that. That's what they want you to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what the enemy wants you to do. He wants you to retaliate. He wants you to, you know, start killing cops and all that stuff. It ain't about that. It's not. It's not about that. We can't do the same thing that some of them, not all of them, are doing. We can't operate that way. We can't operate out of sheer anger and frustration. You can't operate out of emotion. You can't. You don't want to show this to your children, that you operate in an angry way. You don't want your babies gunned down out there or being taken out there. Okay, we understand that. This stuff happens. But don't go looking for trouble. That's not the answer. It's not the answer at all. Jesus is the answer, the way, the truth, and the light. Check this out. The Father says today, you are coming out of Egypt's bondage. The enemy is working to make your load heavier. The adversary wants to destroy your hopes, but that is not the end of the matter. As Pharaoh was brought to his end and destroyed in the Red Sea, even so, the assault of hell against your life is being turned back, and your outcome is assured. Come before me this day, take your shoes off your feet, for you are standing on holy ground. Now this sounds a lot like Moses, don't it? Be willing to turn aside to see what I will show you. Even things that others overlook as nothing unusual. The bush is burning with fire, but it's not consumed. My voice is speaking. Your assignment is changing. No more wasting time on the backside of the desert, for I am sending you to the king's court to confront Pharaoh and see my people go free. Or confront King Ramses. Just basically it's talking to Moses. You know, this is all about what Moses had to do to get his people out of bondage, because he had an assignment. This is a new day and a new responsibility for you to carry. Every blessing you have cried out to me for is released to you, and your willingness to alter the path of your feet and accept the challenge that I have called you to face. The enemy sits in his seat and threatens to make things worse. But that is a lie. You are walking right now into the greatest liberty and freedom that you have ever known. Men may try to intimidate you, but what is that to you when all of heaven stands at your back to make good on your promise or my promise? Situations may look impossible, but I delight in showing myself mighty on your behalf. So fear not. Refuse to be dissuaded or somehow convinced that I won't come through for you. The light of the new day is dawning in your life. The page is turning, and a new chapter of blessing, favor, and increase is being written on the tablets of your heart. A new favor. The blessings are being written on the tablets of your heart, man. Reminds me of that Exodus song that they got. It's called Broken Tablets. Broken tablets. Who broke the tablet in the Bible? Can y'all answer that question? Who broke the tablet when they were frustrated? So, let's go to Proverbs chapter 4. All right. I'm right there. And we're going to read from the Message Bible. Now, I do like the NCV, the New Century Version. Oh, my gosh. It's very plain. But this one right here, that's in chapter 4, verse 1. And in the Message Bible, it says, your life is at stake. Listen, friends, to some fatherly advice. Sit up and take notice so you'll know how to live. Take notice. Sit up. I'm giving you good counsel. Don't let it go in one ear and out the other. When I was a boy at my father's knee, the pride and joy of my mother, he would sit me down and drill me. Take this to heart. Do what I tell you. Live. Sell everything and buy wisdom. Forge and understanding. Don't forget one word. So now he said, don't forget none of my words. Don't forget not one. Don't deviate an inch. Don't deter from this. Never walk away from wisdom. Never walk away from wisdom, man. She guards your life. Love her. She keeps her eye on you. Hey, can y'all close the door? Thank you. Above all and before all, do this. Get wisdom. Get some wisdom before you do anything. Get you some wisdom, get you some knowledge so you can get an understanding of what's going on. Don't just go off of sheer emotion just because somebody tell you to go and do something. Because listen here, somebody telling you to go and do something that they won't do themselves, that's a coward. That's a coward, especially when they're telling you to do wrong. They tell you to go and start looting and rioting and killing people. That's wrong. They're a coward. Don't do that. Above all and before all, do this. Get wisdom. Write this at the top of your list. Get understanding. Throw your arms around her. Believe me, you won't regret it. Wrap your arms around her. Believe me, you won't regret it. Wrapping your arms around wisdom to get an understanding. Never let her go. She'll make your life glorious. She'll garland your life with grace. She'll festoon your days with beauty. Dear friend, take my advice. It will add years to your life. I'm writing out clear directions to wisdom's way. I'm drawing a map to a righteous road. I don't want you ending up in blind alleys. I don't want you ending up in the alleys, in dark alleys, or wasting time making wrong turns, or wasting time making the wrong turn, going the wrong way. Writing the whole tablet, man. These flies out here in this garage. Hold tight to good advice. Don't relax your grip. Guard it well. Your life is at stake. Guard it well because our lives are at stake. Don't take a wicked bypass. Don't so much as set foot on the road. Stay clear of it. Stay clear of it. Give it a wide berth. Make a detour and be on your way. Evil people are restless unless they're making trouble. Evil people can't do it by themselves. They get restless. They got to get other people to join in with them. It ain't enough for just one person to go out there and do it. Now they want everybody to do it. But that very thing that you try and go and do, which all of that burning up stuff, it ain't doing nothing, man. It just, them people get paid if they got insurance. But that's just creating a bigger problem. You think that going and doing all of that is going to solve problem, is going to give somebody notice? No, it's going to tell them to send in what? The military, martial law, and then start slaying people in the street. Because you acting off of sheer emotion and anger. Yeah, we all hurting. We all frustrated. You have got to be kidding me. It's all good. Close that. I had to close the garage, y'all. That loud truck out there. I had to close the garage. There's a loud truck out there. But, again, evil people are restless unless they're making trouble. They can't get a good night's sleep. They can't get a good night's sleep. Oh, hold on. Somebody loves you back. So good. Somebody wants you back. When somebody needs you back. Oh, Teddy. All right. Evil people are restless unless they're making trouble. They can't get a good night's sleep unless they've made life miserable for somebody else. Perversity is their food and drink. Violence, their drug of choice. Evil people, people that want to do evil, they can't do it on their own. They got to go and gather up other people and want to help them do it too. They got to try to string people along so they can feel good at what they're doing. And perversity is their food and drink. but violence is their drug of choice. The ways of right living people glow with light. The longer they live, the brighter they shine. But the road of wrongdoing gets darker and darker. Travelers can't see a thing. They fall flat on their faces. I'm going to go back and read it again. The ways of right living people glow with light. The longer they live, the brighter they shine. But the road of wrongdoing gets darker and darker. Travelers can't see a thing. You imagine driving and you doing wrong, but like I said, travelers can't see a thing. It's just too dark. And then they fall flat on their faces. When you're doing wrong and just keep on doing it, your road gets darker and darker. And your light, instead of it shining, it gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And then finally, you fall flat on your face. Either that's the time that you go into jail, you go to prison. Some people, that's death. Learn it by heart. Dear friend, listen well to my words. Tune your ears to my voice. Keep my message in plain view at all times. Concentrate. Learn it by heart. Those who discover these words live. Really live. Body, soul, they're bursting with health. Keep vigilant. Watch over your heart. That's where life starts. Don't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Avoid careless banter, white lies, and gossip. Keep your eyes straight ahead. Ignore all sideshow distractions. Watch your step, and the road will stretch out smooth before you. Look neither right nor left. Leave evil in the dust. Man, do the right thing. Walk right. Live right. Talk right. Turn to the word and what the word of God tells you to do. I know a lot of y'all, a lot of people don't want to do that. But man, the instructions is in there. The instructions is about what's going on today. It is. There's some instructions in there for everybody. The next one we want to go to, 1 Corinthians chapter 10. The first verse. And we're going to read it in the NCV. This is where Paul is defending his ministry. It says, I, Paul, am begging you with the gentleness and the kindness of Christ. Some people say that I am easy on you when I am with you and bold when I am away. They think we live in a worldly way, and I plan to be very bold with them when I come. I beg you that when I come, I will not need to use that same boldness with you. We do live in the world, but we do not fight in the same way the world fights. We fight with weapons that are different from those the world uses. Our weapons have power from God that can destroy the enemy's strong places. We destroy people's arguments and every proud thing that raises itself up against the knowledge of God. We capture every thought and make it give up and obey Christ. We are ready to punish anyone there who does not obey, but first we want you to obey fully. So Paul said this. The things that we can use, the things that God has for us to use, is to bring correction, man. But we must first be obedient. Obedient. Fully. In order to get these things. To receive them. You must look at the facts before you. You must look at the facts before you. Research. Get some knowledge and some wisdom so you can get an understanding of what's going on right before your eyes. Stop going off of your emotions. If you feel sure that you belong to Christ, you must remember that we belong to Christ just as you do. It is true that we brag freely about the authority the Lord gave us. But this authority is to build you up, not tear you down. This authority that you're given, that when you're watching this video or you checking it out on YouTube, whatever it is not to tear you down. It's to build you up. So I will not be ashamed. I'm not going to be ashamed. I do not want you to think I am trying to scare you with my letters. I don't want y'all to, I'm not trying to scare y'all with the videos. I'm not trying to scare y'all with the posts and all of that. I'm not trying to do that at all. Some say Paul's letters are powerful and sound important, but when he is with us, he is weak and his speaking is nothing. They should know this. We are not there with you now, so we say these things in letters. But when we are there with you, we will show the same authority that we show in our letters. We do not dare to compare ourselves with those who think they are very important. Don't think that you that important. Nah, we all special. We all are important. But don't get high and mighty. They use themselves to measure themselves, and they judge themselves by what they themselves are. This shows that they know nothing. But we will not brag about the things outside the work that was given to us. We will limit our bragging to the work that God gave us. And this includes our work with you. We are not bragging too much as we would be if we had not already come to you. But we have come to you with the good news of Christ. We limit our bragging to the work that is ours, not what others have done. We brag on God. We brag on what God has done for us. We brag on how we overcame. We don't brag about money. We don't brag about no house. We don't brag about no car. We don't brag about no drugs. We don't brag about that stuff. That stuff is meaningless. We don't brag about the woman we got or the man we got. We don't brag on that. We brag on God. We brag on God. We brag because God gave it to us, so we brag on him. The Lord bless you with something, brag on God. The Lord tell you to give to somebody, give to him, but brag on God. Exalt him, acknowledge him, the creator. Not man, not woman. Brag on God because he allowed it to happen. We want to tell the good news in the areas beyond your city. We do not want to brag about the work that has already been done in another person's area. But if people want to brag, they should brag only about the Lord. See, in the words, it tells you right there, brag about the Lord. It is not those who say they are good who are accepted, but those the Lord thinks or knows are good. The Lord don't think nothing. The Lord knows who is good and who is not good. Who is a servant of him and who is not a servant of him. Brag on God. Next scripture. This is good, y'all. This is very good. Where we going? Where we going? Let's go to Galatians chapter 6. This right here. Woo! Get out of here. Stop bothering me. Hold on. Where we at? Galatians, or Galatians as some say. Here we go. Chapter 6. Verse 1. We always read the full chapter. I can't just read just key verses. I have to read the full chapter. I got to get the who, what, when, where's, and why. This one says in Galatians chapter 6, or Galatians as some people want to say, whatever. Help each other. This is the New Century Version. Brothers and sisters, if someone in your group does something wrong, you who are spiritual should go to that person and gently help make him or her right again. But be careful, because you might be tempted to sin too. So if those who are spiritual, who are spirit-led, if your brother or sister does something wrong, we got to help them. But be careful, because in your helping, you don't want to sin too. You don't want to fall into the sin as well. By helping each other with your troubles, you truly obey the law of Christ. You truly obey the law of Christ. If anyone thinks he is important when he really is not, he's only fooling himself or herself. Each person should judge his own actions and not compare himself with others, or herself with others. Let's say himself and herself. Then he can be proud for what he himself has done. Each person must be responsible for his or her self. Anyone who is learning the teaching of God should share all the good things he has with his teacher or her teacher. Life is like planting a field. Do not be fooled. You cannot cheat God. You can't cheat God. You can't hide from God. You can't do none of that. Like, don't be ignorant. You can't cheat God. You can't hide from God. The very thing that we do, we think nobody is watching. Oh, there's one that sits high and looks low. And if you're doing the wrong thing, he's not pleased with that. You're doing the right thing that's pleasing to him. And he's right there with you. People harvest only what they plant. If they plant to satisfy their sinful selves, their sinful selves will bring them ruin. But if they plant the Spirit, they will receive eternal life from the Spirit. We must not become tired of doing good. So don't get tired of doing the good thing. We shouldn't get tired of doing the good thing. As me this morning, I didn't even want to get up this morning. I didn't even want to do no more videos, to be honest with y'all. I was like, I'm just finna take a break. I just wanted to relax just a little bit. But my brothers and sisters that call me on the prayer line and that, be ready for me to hear a word on the prayer line or on YouTube or whatever it is, they call me up and like, bro, we need to hear some word. We got to get some word. We need some knowledge. When we have the opportunity to help anyone, we should do it. But we should give special attention to those who are in the family of believers. We should help those who are in the family of believers, of believing the word of God, believing in what the word says and what we should do. We should want to help them. And then we want to help the ones on the outside that are looking for an answer, looking for God. We got to help them because we was messed up too. We was doing the sinful things too. We've done those things. But now we don't do those things no more. We got to tell the world. We got to tell the world why we don't do those things no more. We got to tell our children why we don't do it no more. We got to tell our wives why we don't do it no more. And it's the women. You got to tell your husbands why you don't do those things no more. You got to tell your family, the ones that knew you, the old you, you got to tell them now why you don't do those things. Because God spared your life. He rescued you. Jesus rescued you from your sin, from the life that you were going down. He rescued you so you don't have to burn. Paul ends his letter. See what large letters I use to write myself. Some people are trying to force you to be circumcised so the Jews will accept them. They are afraid they will be attacked if they follow only the cross of Christ.
Those who are circumcised do not obey the law themselves, but they want you to be circumcised so they can brag about what they forced you to do. Don't follow the enemy. Don't follow into the footsteps of those. Because what they tell you to do, they ain't going to do themselves. If they telling you to go out there and kill, or they telling you to go out there and destroy, ask them why they won't do it themselves. Ask them that. Be bold. Ask them, why you telling me to do it? Why you won't do it yourself? Coward. I hope I will never brag about the things like that. The cross of our Lord Jesus Christ is my only reason for bragging. Through the cross of Jesus, my world was crucified and I died to the world. Through the cross of Jesus, man, I died to the world. I did. When I say I died to the world, I don't operate the way I used to. That's not me anymore. I had to let it go. Hold on, y'all. And we all can do this. There's a new way, man. A happy way. Everything ain't always going to be peaches and cream. But I know what I'm called to do. I know why I'm still here and why that officer down the street, Officer Gillenbeck, couldn't do it because it wasn't my time. It is not important if a man is circumcised or uncircumcised. The important thing is being the new people God has made you. Peace and mercy to those who follow this rule and to all God's people. So do not give me any more trouble. I have scars on my body that show I belong to Christ Jesus. My brothers and sisters, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with your spirit. Amen. Man, when you really want to change, when you really want to go in a new way, when you want to walk in the ways of Christ, when you want to just say, you know what, I'm tired of doing all this stuff, man. I'm tired of living this way. Come to Jesus, man. Fall to your knees and ask God to forgive you. And ask him to show you a new way. Show you a new way. Right there. Show me the way. Show you a new way. Because the ways that we have been taught and conditioned to are destroying us. And I'll even show you in the scripture on the next one that I got for you. This one right here, gonna blow your mind. Go with me to Hosea chapter 4. Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. And let's read it in the Message. And it says in Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. The preface of it says, no one is faithful. Attention all Israelites. Attention all God's people. God's message. God indicts the whole population. No one is faithful. No one loves. No one knows the first thing about God. All this cussing and lying and killing, theft and loose sex, sheer anarchy. One murder after another. And because of all this, the very land itself weeps and everything in it is grief-stricken. Animals in the field and birds on the wing, even the fish in the sea are listless or lifeless. But don't look for someone to blame. No finger pointing. You priests are the one in the dock. You stumble around in broad daylight, and then the prophets take over and stumble all night. Your mother is as bad as you. My people are ruined because they don't know what's right or true. Because you turn your back on knowledge, I've turned my back on you, priests. Because you refuse to recognize the revelation of God, I'm no longer recognizing your children. The more priests, the more sin. They traded in their glory for shame. They pig out on people's sins. He's saying that the priests, the pastors, the preachers, the teachers, they pig out on your sin. That's what he's saying. And you give them finances hoping for change. But they preying on your sin. They can't wait for the latest evil is what it says. They can't wait for you to do the latest thing or the latest trend to come out and do all these things. So when you start doing all these things, you start following these people. You start following the words that's in the song and the people of the world. Then they start preaching at you. They start talking to you. When you come into the church walls, they get to making their whole message about you and how you should change. Then you got all these people hooping and hollering. Yes, 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 Lord, yes, yes. I'm not picking on nobody. And then he said, let's worship the Lord in our giving. Next thing you know, you bring your money up there. You put it in the offering plate, your collection plate, whatever it is. And you're like, yeah, I'm changing. I'm going to change my life around. I am. I'm changing my life around. And then it gets tough. It gets real tough. Because now you got to really try and stop everything that you was doing. You call the pastor, he don't pick up the phone, or she don't pick up the phone. You call the prophet, they don't pick up the phone. You got to go through about 3, 4, 5 people just to get a hold of somebody. If you can even get a hold of them. When you hurting that night. When you need help. When you need, the spiritual ones that say they got your back. Won't even pick up the phone. Call on God. Call on Jesus. You following them and they can't pick up the phone and call you, ain't no excuse. You got all these followers following you. You should be able to answer them. Because they supporting you. They helping you out. They giving you a blessing. And I'm not picking on nobody. I'm just telling you what the word of God says. They can't wait for the latest evil. The result, you can't tell the people from the priest. The priest from the people. I'm on my way to make them both pay and take the consequences of the bad lives they've lived. They'll eat and be as hungry as ever and have sex and get no satisfaction. They walked out on me and their God for a life of rutting with whores. They walked out on God. They started exalting themselves above God. They started doing the very thing that they told you not to do. Messing with people all day, all night long. They make a picnic out of religion. Wine and whiskey leave my people in a stupor. They ask questions of a dead tree. Expect answers from a sturdy walking stick. Drunk on sex, they can't find their way home. They've replaced their God with their genitals. Ooh, go back. They've replaced God with their genitals. They replaced God with having sex. They replaced God with their genitals, with the wine. They worship on the tops of mountains, make a picnic out of religion. Under the oaks and the elms of the hills, they stretch out and take it easy. Before you know it, your daughters are whores, and the wives of your sons are sleeping around. But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. How do your daughters become whores, and the sons, and the wives of your sons are sleeping around with them? But I'm not going after your whoring daughters. He says, I'm not going after the daughters, the whoring daughters, or the adulterous wives of your sons. I'm not going after them. This is what he tells you. It's the men who pick up the whores that I'm after. The men who worship at the holy whorehouse, who go to the strip clubs, who paying them for their, for their services, who on their OnlyFans pages, who telling them, I'll give you some money if you just give me a little piece. Or putting the women out there, pimping them. Them the ones he going after. He says, again, it's the men who pick up the whores that I'm after. The men who worship at the whorehouses. A stupid people ruined by whores. You've ruined your own life, Israel. But don't drag Judah down with you. Don't go after the sex shrine at Gilgal. Don't go to that sin city at Bethel. Don't go to the sin city, Bethel. Don't go around saying God bless you and not mean it. Taking God's name in vain. Israel is stubborn as a mule. How can God lead him like a lamb to open pasture? Ephraim is addicted to idols. Let him go. When the beer runs out, it's sex, sex, and more sex. Bold and sordid debauchery. How they love it. They love sex. They love sex more than they love God. They love getting it in more than they love God. It's all about sex. Drinking and smoking and getting it in real quick. Whatever you can do just to get one in, huh? The whirlwind has them in the clutches. The world got you in the palm of its hand. Their sex worship leaves them finally impotent. What that mean? Their sex worship leaves them finally impotent. Can't get it up. Gotta take some Viagra. Like you do everything to try and get it up. Want them to do whatever it is. Try and get it up. It leaves you impotent. Soft. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, and then I'm coming to a close. Second Corinthians chapter 3. Verse 1. And we're going to go to the New Century Version. Servants of the new agreement. Are we starting to brag about ourselves again? Are we starting to brag about ourselves again? Do we need letters of introduction? Do we need letters of introduction to you or from you? Like some other people? You yourselves are our letter, written on your hearts or on our hearts, known and ready by everyone. You show that you are a letter from Christ sent through us. This letter is not written with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. You don't really need no introduction like some people. We ourselves are the letter. It's written in our essence. It's already there. in your heart. This letter is not written with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. It is written on stone tablets, but on human hearts. It is written on stone tablets. It's written in the Bible, but it's written in your heart. We can say this because through Christ, we feel certain before God. We are not saying that we can do this work ourselves. No, we're not saying that. We're not saying we can do this all by ourselves. It is God who makes us able to do all that we do. He made us able to be servants of a new agreement from himself to his people. This new agreement is not a written law, but it is of the Spirit. The written law brings death, but the Spirit gives life. The written law does bring death, but what the Spirit does is it brings life. The law that brought death was written in words on stone. It came with God's glory, which made Moses' face so bright that the Israelites could not continue to look at it. But that glory later disappeared. So surely the new way that brings the Spirit has even more glory. If the law that judged people guilty of sin had glory, surely the new way that makes people right with God has much greater glory. That old law had glory, but it really loses its glory when it's compared to the much greater glory of this new way. If that law which disappeared came with glory, then this new way which continues forever has much greater glory. It tells you that at least 3 times. We have this hope, so we are very bold. Now we have this hope, and we very bold with it. We are not like Moses, who put a covering over his face so the Israelites would not see it. We're not like that. We come boldly. We take the veil off. The glory was disappearing, and Moses did not want them to see it in. But their minds were closed, and even today, that same covering hides the meaning when they read the old agreement. The covering is taken away only through Christ. Even today, when they read the law of Moses, there is a covering over their minds. But when a person changes and follows the Lord, that covering is taken away. The Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Our faces then are not covered. The veil comes off. We all show the Lord's glory, and we are being changed to be like him. This change is this change in us brings ever great glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. When you begin to change, when you begin to walk in the way of God, when you begin to walk in the way of Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, the Anointed One, the Messiah, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, the Prince of Peace, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, you'll step out. The veil will come off. You're not afraid. You're not afraid to give your testimony. You're not afraid to talk about the word of God. You're not afraid to tell the truth. And the people that follow you are not afraid either. We come boldly to the throne of grace, so we may obtain mercy. That's how we got to walk. That's how we got to talk. That's how we must be. Bold for the kingdom of God. We got to tell our story. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed this as much as I did. As again, I ain't even want to do the videos. I ain't even want to get on the podcast. I ain't want to get on the prayer line because I was just tired of doing the good. I didn't want to go and do no bad. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to rest, man. I just wanted to rest and just take a break. You know, a hiatus, if you will. But my brothers and sisters don't let me get a break. Rise and shine. Jesus is on the main line. Bro, where you at? All right, man, I guess I got to get up. As they say, Jesus is on the main line. The Holy Spirit is all over it. They want me to sing. They want me to join the choir. So, hey, I'm good. I'm going to be there. If y'all enjoyed this message, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about this boldly. See everybody spreading the word, spreading what, was talking about our brother George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and, others that were gunned down and about the babies that were in Tulsa and things of that nature. Those that have a testimony, those that have a breakthrough, not a breakdown, but a breakthrough. You have something to say, step out, be bold. I love y'all. Blessings to y'all. Knowledge.